Most people spend their lives reacting to everything. Stoics don't. Here are 5 things Stoicism teaches that can change the way you live forever. Other people's opinions, unexpected events, the past, the future. And when reality refuses to obey, they suffer. Over 2,000 years ago, the Stoic philosopher Epictetus explained why. He said, "Some things are up to us, and some things are not." It sounds simple, almost obvious, but most anxiety comes from pretending this isn't true. You worry about what others think of you. You replay conversations in your head. You try to predict the future, as if thinking harder could control it. None of these things belong to you. According to Epictetus, only a few things are truly yours: your judgments, your choices, your actions, your character. Everything else is external. You cannot control whether people respect you, but you can control whether you act with dignity. You cannot control what happens, but you can control how you respond. Imagine losing something important. One person resists reality, asking, "Why is this happening to me?" Another accepts what cannot be changed and asks, "What can I do now?" The event is the same, the outcome is not. This is not weakness, it is clarity. Trying to control everything makes you fragile, because life will always surprise you. But when you focus only on what is yours, you become steady. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire during war and chaos, yet he wrote that a person at peace with themselves is never truly disturbed. Because external events cannot destroy someone who does not depend on them for stability. Think about how much energy people waste fighting reality, arguing with strangers, obsessing over perception, trying to force others to change. It's like shouting at the ocean for having waves. You cannot control whether people stay in your life, but you can control who you become when they leave. And that is where strength begins. Not in controlling the world, but in no longer needing to. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, pause and ask, "Is this within my control?" If the answer is no, let it go. Not because you are weak, but because you are wise. Trying to control everything is what makes you powerless. Choosing what deserves your control is what makes you free. Most people spend their lives chasing comfort, believing ease will make them happy. But comfort weakens more often than it protects. The Stoics believed the opposite, that hardship is not an obstacle, but a form of training. Seneca wrote that difficulties strengthen the mind just as labor strengthens the body. Without resistance, nothing grows. A muscle that is never used atrophies. A mind that never struggles becomes fragile. Pain, loss, failure. These are not signs that life is against you. They are signs that life is shaping you. Think about steel. It becomes strong only after passing through fire. Without heat, it remains brittle and useless. Human character is forged the same way. When everything goes well, you learn very little about yourself. But when things fall apart, you discover what you are made of. Hardship strips away illusions. It shows you your fears, your limits, your weaknesses, but also your resilience. Many people try to escape discomfort at any cost. They distract themselves, numb themselves, avoid challenges, surround themselves with convenience. In doing so, they trade long-term strength for short-term relief. The Stoics chose differently. They practiced voluntary discomfort, cold, hunger, simplicity, not to suffer, but to prepare. Because when real hardship arrives, it does not ask for permission. Marcus Aurelius ruled during war, plague, and constant political danger. Yet he reminded himself that obstacles are not in the way, they are the way. Every difficulty is an opportunity to practice patience, courage, discipline, and endurance. Without problems, these qualities cannot exist. Imagine 2 people facing the same crisis. One collapses, overwhelmed, because he has never trained his mind to endure pain. The other remains steady, not because he enjoys suffering, but because he understands it is temporary and survivable. Strength is not built in comfort, It is revealed when comfort disappears. Hardship also teaches perspective. After loss, you appreciate what remains. After failure, you value progress. After pain, even ordinary peace feels meaningful. This is why those who have struggled often carry a quiet confidence. They know they can survive more than they once believed. So, when life becomes difficult, the Stoic does not ask, "Why me?" He asks, "What can this teach me?" Because every challenge contains instruction. Every setback contains a chance to grow stronger, wiser, more resilient. Avoiding hardship may feel safe, but it leaves you unprepared for reality. Facing hardship builds an inner stability that no external comfort can provide. The goal is not to seek suffering, but to stop fearing it. Because once you realize that difficulty cannot destroy you, it can only shape you, something changes. Fear loses its grip. You stop running from challenges and start walking through them. And on the other side, you are not the same person who entered. You are stronger, calmer, harder to break. Hardship does not exist to punish you. It exists to refine you. Just as fire tempers steel, adversity tempers the human spirit. And the person who has endured storms no longer fears dark clouds on the horizon. Not because life has become easy, but because they have become strong. Most people believe their suffering comes from the world around them. Difficult people, bad luck, unexpected events. But the Stoics taught that the real source of disturbance is not what happens, but how we interpret it. Marcus Aurelius wrote that you have power over your mind, not outside events, and once you realize this, you will find strength. Your mind is the one place no one can enter without your permission. Yet many people hand over the keys willingly. A careless comment ruins their day. A setback convinces them they are failures. A moment of uncertainty becomes a story of doom in their head. The event itself may be small, but the interpretation magnifies it into suffering. Stoicism teaches that between what happens and how you feel, there is a space. And in that space lies your freedom. If someone insults you, their words are external. They cannot harm your character unless you accept them as truth. If plans fall apart, the situation is external. It becomes distress only when you label it a disaster. This does not mean suppressing emotion or pretending nothing matters. It means recognizing that your inner world does not have to mirror external chaos. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire surrounded by war, betrayal, and disease. Yet he reminded himself daily that the mind can remain calm even when the world is not. A fortress does not stop storms from existing, it prevents them from destroying what is inside. In the same way, mental discipline does not eliminate problems, but it prevents problems from dominating you. Consider how easily people are manipulated when they lack this inner stability. News cycles provoke fear, social media provokes comparison, criticism provokes anger. Each reaction gives external forces more control over your internal state. The Stoic response is different. Instead of reacting automatically, you observe. Instead of being swept away, you remain grounded. This calm is not weakness, it is control. Epictetus taught that no person is free who is not master of themselves. If your mood depends entirely on circumstances, you are always vulnerable. But if your stability comes from within, you become difficult to disturb. This is why Stoicism emphasizes training the mind through reflection, perspective, and self-discipline. Just as physical strength is built through repeated stress, mental strength is built through repeated restraint. Each time you choose patience over anger, clarity over panic, reason over impulse, you reinforce the walls of that inner fortress. Over time, storms still arrive, but they no longer devastate you. They pass through while you remain standing. This inner security creates a quiet confidence. You do not need constant reassurance because your sense of worth is not outsourced to the world. You do not fear every setback because you trust your ability to endure. And perhaps most importantly, You do not need to control everything, because you have learned to control yourself. Your mind becomes a place of refuge rather than a battlefield. When chaos surrounds you, you can retreat inward, regain clarity, and return stronger. The Stoics believe that true power is not dominance over others, but mastery over one's own thoughts. Anyone can appear strong when circumstances are favorable. Real strength is remaining composed when they are not. So, when life feels overwhelming, remember that the world does not need to become calmer for you to find peace. You only need to strengthen the place where peace actually lives, within your own mind. A strong mind does not deny reality. It faces it without surrendering to it. And once you build that inner fortress, you carry it everywhere. No loss can steal it, no insult can breach it, no crisis can erase it. Because the strongest walls are not built from stone, but from discipline, perspective, and self-control. And a person who has mastered their mind is no longer at the mercy of the world. They are anchored within it. In a world where everyone feels the need to speak, explain, argue, and prove themselves, silence can look like weakness. But the Stoics understood something most people never do. The person who controls their tongue often controls the situation. Epictetus advised his students to be mostly silent, or speak only what is necessary and in few words. Words are powerful, but they are also dangerous when used impulsively. Anger speaks loudly, insecurity over-explains, ego demands to be heard. Silence, on the other hand, creates space. It allows you to observe instead of react, to understand instead of escalate. Many conflicts grow not because of what happened, but because both sides refuse to stop talking. An insult answered with another insult becomes a chain reaction. A criticism met with defensiveness turns into an argument. But when one person remains calm and quiet, the energy has nowhere to feed. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that the best revenge is not to become like the one who harmed you. Often, that revenge is silence. Not the cold silence of resentment, but the composed silence of someone who refuses to be dragged into chaos. Silence also protects your intentions. When you announce every plan, every dream, every move, you expose it to doubt, criticism, and unnecessary pressure. Many great achievements were built quietly, away from distraction and noise. Speaking too soon dissipates energy that could have been used for action. There is a reason disciplined people often appear reserved. They are focused on doing, not broadcasting. Silence sharpens perception as well. When you are not busy preparing your next sentence, you actually hear what others are saying. You notice tone, hesitation, emotion, hidden meaning. This awareness gives you an advantage that loud people rarely possess. They reveal everything while learning nothing. Silence is also a form of emotional control. Anyone can shout when angry or defend themselves when offended. It takes strength to remain composed, to let the wave pass without being pulled under. This does not mean suppressing truth or avoiding important conversations. It means choosing the right moment, the right words, and the right tone. Power is not in constant speech, it is in deliberate speech. Think of how authority figures often speak less, not more. Their presence carries weight because their words are measured. When they speak, people listen, precisely because silence has made their voice rare. In contrast, constant talking dilutes impact. If everything is said, nothing stands out. The Stoics believe that inner stability expresses itself through calmness, not noise. A turbulent mind seeks validation through endless explanation. A steady mind does not feel the need. It knows its value without announcing it. Silence can also reveal truth about others. When you stop filling every gap in conversation, people show who they really are. Some become uncomfortable, some overshare, some reveal motives they would have hidden otherwise. Your quietness becomes a mirror. Of course, silence is not always easy. It requires patience when misunderstood, restraint when provoked, confidence when ignored. But these are precisely the qualities Stoicism aims to build. Over time, silence stops feeling like suppression and starts feeling like control. You realize you do not have to react to everything. You do not have to defend yourself against every opinion. You do not have to win every argument. And paradoxically, this makes you harder to defeat. Because your energy is no longer scattered across endless conflicts, it is conserved, focused, and ready when it truly matters. Silence does not make you invisible, it makes you deliberate. It signals that your peace is more valuable than being right, that your time is more valuable than pointless debate, that your dignity is more valuable than momentary emotional release. In the end, silence is not the absence of power, but its containment. Like a drawn bow, waiting, not wasted arrows fired in every direction. The Stoics understood that the loudest person in the room is rarely the strongest. True strength often speaks quietly, or not at all. And when you learn to master silence, you gain something noise can never provide: control over yourself. Human beings cling to things as if they were meant to last forever. Success, relationships, youth, comfort, even pain. Yet the Stoics constantly reminded themselves that everything is temporary. Marcus Aurelius wrote that all things fade into the storied past, and soon even those who remember will also be gone. This was not meant to create despair, but clarity. When you understand that nothing lasts, you stop being shocked by change. You stop expecting stability from a world built on movement. Seasons change, bodies age, fortunes rise and fall, people enter and leave your life. The river never holds the same water twice, and neither does your life hold the same moment. Most suffering comes not from loss itself, but from the belief that what you lost was supposed to stay. When reality breaks that illusion, pain follows. Stoicism dissolves that illusion before life has to. It teaches you to appreciate without clinging, to love without demanding permanence, to succeed without believing success defines you. Imagine holding sand in your hand. Grip it tightly, and it slips through your fingers faster. Hold it gently, and it remains longer. Life works the same way. The more desperately you try to freeze a moment, the more fragile it becomes. This understanding transforms both joy and hardship. When something good happens, you savor it deeply because you know it will not last forever. Gratitude replaces entitlement. When something painful happens, you endure it with patience because you know it will not last forever either. Hope replaces despair. Epictetus advised his students that when you kiss your child or your loved one, remember that they are mortal, not to diminish love, but to intensify it. Awareness of impermanence makes affection more honest and presence more meaningful. It removes the illusion that you can postpone appreciation indefinitely. Many people live as if they will always have more time to say what matters, more time to pursue what matters, more time to become who they want to be. Then change arrives suddenly and the opportunity disappears. Stoicism urges you to live now, not recklessly, but consciously, not attached to outcomes, but committed to action. Impermanence also protects you from arrogance. Success today does not guarantee success tomorrow. Status can vanish, wealth can evaporate, admiration can turn into indifference. By remembering this, you remain humble and grounded. You do not build your identity on things that time can erase. Instead, you invest in character, the one possession that cannot be taken by fortune alone. At the same time, impermanence protects you from despair. No storm lasts forever. No pain is infinite. Even the darkest chapter eventually turns a page. This perspective gives resilience without denial. You acknowledge suffering without believing it defines your entire story. In a strange way, realizing that everything ends makes life more meaningful, not less. A song matters because it finishes. A sunset moves us because it fades. A human life has weight precisely because it is limited. If everything lasted forever, nothing would feel urgent or precious. The Stoics did not fear impermanence. They used it as a guide. It told them where to focus, not on possessions, appearances, or fleeting approval, but on wisdom, virtue, and presence. Because when time removes everything else, these are what remain in memory and influence. So when change disrupts your life, remember that permanence was never promised. Loss does not mean something went wrong, it means something ended, as all things do. And when something ends, space opens for something new. Nothing is permanent, not success, not failure, not pain, not joy. This truth can frighten you, or it can free you. The Stoics chose freedom. They walked through life, appreciating what was there, accepting when it was gone, and remaining steady through both. Because a person who understands impermanence no longer fears change. They are prepared for it. And the one who is prepared cannot be easily shaken, because they know that whatever arrives will also pass.